everybody, and welcome to this special on Neptune Retrograde. And so this year, Neptune goes into retrograde on the 2nd of July and stays there until the 7th of December. So at 10:41, 2nd of July in the morning, Neptune goes into retrograde and it stays there until the 7th of December at 11:43. All times given are in GMT time, and based on the interpretation I'm going to give now is based on Vedic constellation or astrology. I will learn to speak one day, but in the meantime, so in astrology, Neptune is known as the planet of dreams, illusions and spirituality. It rules our subconscious mind, creativity and imagination. When Neptune's retrograde, it happens for about 5 months each year, and retrograde in astrology is when a planet, so in this case Neptune, appears to move backwards from its orbit from our viewpoint on Earth, but actually what is happening is that Neptune's just moving side to side. So Neptune retrograde, its energies is turning inward. It wants us to do more thinking, more self-reflecting about our deepest desires, fears and spiritual connections. Do we ignore the spiritual? Neptune rules the 12th house as well. So the 12th house in astrology is the house of secrets. What secrets are you keeping from yourself and others that are holding you back from, from living guilt-free, free from living the fullness of your life? What are your secret enemies? What people, what habits in your life? What intoxicating substances, drink, drugs or food that you have in excess that's stopping you from being the best you? Really going to the depths of your psyche, thinking about your self-destructive habits, relationships, your connection to the unknown. Why you fear the unknown? Do you stay too much in your comfort zone? Do you embrace uncertainty, or are you scared of uncertainty like most of us say? When Neptune is in Pisces, it's naturally in dignity, and this year as Neptune goes into retrograde, it is in Pisces. So, but also even when there's a year when Neptune goes retrograde, it's not in Pisces. Neptune rules the 12th house, so there's always a 12th house element to Neptune, sort of like being in retrograde. Because of its rulership of the 12th house, and when Neptune's in the 12th house, it's said to be in dignity. It's a good place for it to be. The key word, we will look at the aesthetic of things. We will become more intuitively in tune with our subconscious. But at times we can fool ourselves and suffer from feeling confined, imprisoned in our own minds. We may find ourselves more in tune with our creative side, especially dancing. Subtle movements really sort of like infuse Neptune retrograde. Feelings of loneliness, deep-seated loneliness can come up, and we may not even know where these feelings are coming from. We may have lots of friends, or we just may be happy in our own company if you're single or self-partnered, but ultimately this energy wants us to look within and become more at peace and with ourselves, and finding healthy techniques and habits that allow us to do so. I've decided to leave that be, what I said about Neptune and its connotation to Pisces, and I'm going to keep it in the video even when Neptune's retrograde and not in Pisces. So if you're listening to this and you're like, Neptune's not in Pisces, yeah, you're right, but it still always has that connotation of being 12th housey, because it's telling us to go inward when Neptune is in retrograde, so yeah. So Neptune in Greek mythology, of course, is linked to Poseidon, and the myth is Ulysses was returning from his travels, and even with the protection of Zeus, the higher god, he was still tormented and confused by Poseidon. So Neptune corresponds to our confusion, and even me on my spiritual journey, knowing these profound things that I do know, and even though I say the more I know the less I know, I still have self-destructive thoughts. I've got self-destructive habits that I have to manage, So even when we, dig into our religions and our philosophies, Neptune in astrology symbolically reminds us, because astrology is just a symbolic language that describes the world. Some people understand the world through science and more technical means, and myself and people like me, and this is why I make these videos, understand the world through these more symbolic, creative languages. So Neptune corresponds to the ways that we're confused and the chaos and impressibility of our human emotions, and how we can meet someone. We can be the most type A person, but we fall in love and we become, we start not going into work on time and all the rest of it. Not everyone. We meet someone who maybe lures us in, and then we come off track of our spiritual development or any other development that we're making at the moment. So it shows us the elements of our deception and our camouflage. And Carl Jung in his book The Undiscovered Self talks about these. It's best to always realize that even if you are the most nice and pleasant of people, that because of our nature, you're a human being and we're on this planet, no matter how spiritual you are, you're still open to the elements of human nature. And even if you have not met your evil, you have an evil side to you. And that's not to say it's not because we give it the label evil, but it's just the fact it's just part of our human nature. We have night and day. We have, we break it down into good and bad, but when we see it's just all one, we have different expressions, different spectrum of our human emotions. So that's why I say, to me, mental health is not like conditions, symptoms. It's not just one box. We're all on that spectrum, and we all have to learn to manage all our different spectrums of personality and psychological and emotional and spiritual traumas, and learn to manage them. And so when Neptune goes retrograde, it allows us to sort of like be aware. And this is why it's important not to judge others, because we have to just learn to manage our crazy. That's the best that all we can do, and always be aware that we have not met the circumstance yet that will bring out our evil if we are the happy-go-lucky, chill-back type. But there can be a circumstance such as falling in love or anything else, a life event that can trigger you into a person that you didn't even know you were. And this is why a lot of parents say, there wasn't like that as a child, and we get all those sayings, So Neptune going retrograde is right for uncovering karmic patterns that may be playing out in our current lives and may have continued over from past lives. Neptune represents our connection to the divine and our ability to tap into higher realms of consciousness. And when Neptune's retrograde, it can intensify our spiritual and creative influences as it pushes us to reflect internally on our dreams, our illusions, our self-destructive thoughts, habits and toxic relationships, and our subconscious patterns, the thoughts, the automatic thoughts that we numb ourselves from, because we that remind us of our feelings or anything else we're trying to not remember. Getting in tune with the root of those so we can heal them and understand them, not being afraid of our nature but embracing it and using Neptune's energy to inspire us to understand ourselves and go after our sort of like visions and live our ideals or our authentic selves. But it also can bring that confusion and that need to escape, because it can bring us strongly into our self-destructive awareness, make us aware of the things we do that are toxic to ourselves and others. And if we're not grounded properly or we continue to run, it can make us take even more drugs and alcohol than we normally do. So it's really important to get help if you feel really overwhelmed right now, and to just try and self-reflect. And even though it can be hard, because the reason why we run into toxic substances is because we don't want to face our realities, and it can be hard to face realities. Sometimes when we live eternally, look at life and surface, you can, and you ain't got a partner, or you ain't got the things society saves, like money and other things, possessions. You can think, oh, my life is crap. But when we build our world from inside of us and create this world of happiness, learning to be happy with what we are, now and who we are now and what we have now. This is the only way we're going to be happy once we finally get the things that we really want. This is why so many people get to the top of their professions and get famous and then have all the money in the world and still not happy, because true happiness really does come from within, and it comes from accepting all sides of yourself. So Neptune retrograde wants us to seek deeper meanings in our lives and explore the more psychic, intuitive nature of ourselves. It can increase our sensitivity and empathy. It allows us to connect with our emotions and inner desires. For example, some of you may feel more inclined to dig into your creative, artistic sort of like expression and activities, or engage in spiritual practices that help you to understand your inner world better. And that's the whole sense of this. It wants us to transcend. It wants us to learn to have our internal. Neptune retrograde wants us to learn to build our sense of happiness and stability from within, because if we keep on building it from without, when we don't get that product, that drug, can't have that drink, can't have that lover, can't have that friend, that game, that buzz, that next high, we're going to get low again. But if our highs can come from within us, from understanding ourselves, then that's something that can never be taken away from us when the world does its world thing and life be lifing and all of that, and bringing chaos. So although Neptune retrograde can bring a sense of illusionment and lead us into fantasy and getting lost in illusion, it can reveal who we truly are. It can only do this for us if we allow ourselves to face reality and to gain clarity on what it's going to take for us to bring our lives into alignment with the things we say that we want. Do you say you want a better life? Why do you continue with your self-destructive habits and thoughts then, And again, it's not about shaming and blaming. It's about realising that you will have to manage or your self-destructive thoughts and habits and ways of relating to self and others in order to live the life you really want to live. So Neptune retrograde wants us to embrace its introspective energy to help us get over the emotional turbulence and confusion that it brings, and by doing so we can emerge from this transit with a deeper sense of self-awareness and clarity in our spiritual journey. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about this exact retrograde that's happening on the 2nd of July right up until the 7th of December in 2024. So it's happening in Pisces. So positively, Neptune retrograde in Pisces allows us to dig into our subconscious mind, uncover hidden emotions and fears and secrets and hidden enemies that are, our thoughts, namely, or habits or relationships, and then we can reflect on the things that are stopping us from progressing from our comfort zone, especially really focusing on, our fear of uncertainty and why we do self-destructive things, because a lot of the times we know that these habits and relationships are hurting us, but we just don't want to let go. And a lot of the times the reasons for this is rooted in childhood or past past relationships. So seeking out help at this time can really, really help you. Some of you may find yourself more in tune with your intuition and spiritual practices right now, just really, taking that time out to really, work on yourself through self-care techniques and psychological understanding and stuff like that. But negatively, it can lead to us deceiving ourselves, ignoring red flags, wanting to get lost in the fantasy and lies, as there can be blurred boundaries. People can say things that they don't mean, or because everybody wants to escape right now, can lead to an intake in hookup scenarios, or people tricking each other just so they don't want to feel lonely right now. We can have unrealistic expectations. So, check facts, ask for facts, try and get clarity. Don't assume nothing. Don't assume you met someone and things are going well, new, and then, this is my new partner. Ask questions. Do you want to be my new partner? What is it you want from me? Get things in clarity is what we need right now to see the truth in our relationships. And even though it can be struggle to get truth right now, it's important to do so and do all your best to face reality and not escape, even though I know it's hard not to. Do things to stay grounded, so that you can, just face your problems instead of running away from them. And normally the things that we do, like eventually, we can't take drugs and alcohol forever without there being consequences to our physical health. That's the point I'm trying to make. So we have to think of more longer term solutions to our problems rather than these temporary ones, even though they may seem permanent. You may have drank and took drugs for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, but as you may know by now, something's going to have to give and let it not be you. And of course, you would have liked to have changed some of the things that you've done because of your, addictions and stuff like that. But we can't change the past. What we can do is forgive ourselves for it and make a better future for ourselves. The best way to use the energy of Neptune retrograde is to, embrace being open to the deeper meanings and intuitive nature, and use self-care and be gentle with yourself and open-minded, and give yourself empathy, and be open to being more emotional, but, stay grounded in reality as well, and use meditation and creativity to help you understand and explore your subconscious beliefs and thoughts and stuff. And by maintaining a balance between using your intuition and being practical right now, you can navigate this transit and allow it to give you the much needed clarity and insight you need to get your life back on track, or continue having your life on track, Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the aspects that Neptune's making this year when it goes into retrograde. So at first, the moon makes a sextile to Neptune, so this allows us to be more empathetic and psychically sensitive, which is really good. It supports us with connecting with ourselves and others on an emotional level, nurturing our relationships, tapping into our intuition, and also tune into our subconscious mind. So this moon sextile Neptune, when a planet goes into emotion, so Neptune is going into retrograde right now, and it makes aspects. Those aspects it makes at the time of going retrograde will flavour the whole period. So we've got this nice energy of the moon sextile to Neptune, allowing us to do the things that Neptune retrograde wants us to do. So that's really good. It can help us understand our feelings and our world and the world around us and other people more deeply. Whatever we put our attention to right now, we can go in depth with it, basically. Mercury makes a trine to Neptune as well, so it helps us, get more in touch with our empathy and our imagination as well. And it's great for creative thinking, creative expression. It allows us to have spiritual insights, especially those that comes from communication. So you could be talking to someone, listening to a podcast, watching something, whatever. It can help us understand complex ideas and just promotes us being more compassionate in the way that we approach things, our own thoughts right now, the way we speak to people, the way we speak to ourselves. Neptune also makes a sextile to Pluto. This allows us to transform the things that we want to transform right now. It's an ongoing sextile. It's applying at 125, so this is really, really good. It encourages us and supports us to go deep into our psychological, emotional and spiritual issues and have more compassion and sensitivity for ourselves. When we're doing that, it helps us foster, develop our spiritual growth, and heal from our past traumas as well, which is really good. And if we all just try and heal just one habit or understand one of our thoughts right now, this can have like a profound impact on our collective consciousness, becoming more higher and higher. So yeah, Neptune also makes an opposition to the ascendant, so the focus is on our personal expression here. So it just allows us to really think about who we are. It can really highlight our dreams and illusions right now and how they clash with how we present ourselves to the world. So are you really showing up as who you are, or are you showing up as who the world tells you to be? It wants us to find a balance between our inner ideals and living them and our external image, what other people think of us, with a viewpoint of knowing that it's what we think of ourselves that needs to matter, especially as we get get into our late 20s, 30s and 40s and beyond, you know, the world will always have something to say. We can't please all the people all the time, but you do have a real chance of pleasing yourself in this lifetime. And this doesn't mean being narcissistic and disregarding other people's needs. No, the same love we give to ourselves, we need to give to others. But first, to be able to give love to others, we have to find this spring of everlasting love within ourselves, right? So it pushes us to examine if we are projecting a true reflection of who we are, or living in a fantasy, in a facade, you know, in a fake reality, just because we want to please others or we feel scared to be our authentic selves. So pushes us, Neptune's opposition to descendant, to confront our shadow selves and to, you know, really ask ourselves and get real about why we feel it's not okay for us to be ourselves, and to work through the things that we need to do to become stable in our sense of selves. So at the time of Neptune going retrograde, it's in the 6th degree of Pisces, and the Sabian symbology for that is officers on dress parade. So positively, the image, officers on dress parade. So this is a time when those in the military put on their best uniform, and it symbolises a sense of order, discipline and outward presentation, and this can help bring clarity and structure to Neptune's dreamy and sometimes confusing energy during this retrograde phase. If we remember to, you know, to bring some structure into our life and to think about not so much outward presentation, not caring about what others think. No, we don't want to do that, because we want to non-conform, we want to be our authentic selves, but we want to also, you know, keep our, you know, have a strategic plan and know what we're doing as well, and, you know, bring some discipline to our emotional expression and stuff. So, but negatively, the 6th degree of Pisces warns us that we must not become too pessimistic or rigid and inflexible and conformist in our spiritual pursuits and creative plans, that we have to, you know, not just follow the crowd and their notion of what being spiritual is or what being creative is, to actually think about what being spiritual and creative means to you, and you know, looking at the tools out there and tailoring them to your own needs. So yeah, in some ways, the strictness and form reality associated with, you know, the symbology of the officers on parade can get in the way of Neptune's imagination and fluidity. But what it does bring is grounding, is Sabian Degree, so it's very good that it's in the 6th degree of Pisces. You know, it's in a very grounding degree that can help us, you know, stay grounded and face the reality. Pluto's in the 8th degree of Capricorn, and the Sabian Degree is birds in the house singing happily, and this supports Neptune's reflective energy and helps us with getting deep insights and healing emotionally. It can bring harmony and balance into our life and renewal, but negatively we can get lost in the, you know, the superficial pleasures and distractions, you know, taking too much drugs, alcohol, getting lost in Netflix and chilling and all the other things that keep us, you know, from being with ourselves, you know, endless distractions, scrolling on social media and stuff. And if we do this, we can miss out on this opportunity to grow and to under ourselves. So it's essential to balance the light-heartedness of the bird song, a singing symbology of, you know, birds singing happily, so that we can, you know, be open to the transformative energy of renewing our spiritual and emotional psychological lives. The moon's in the 3rd degree of Taurus, so this brings, you know, stable energy, and it's associated with the Thanatos, and it symbolises and helps us to communicate and express ourselves. But negatively, it can add to the confusion and misinterpretation of the moments and psychic cues that we can get from, you know, our spirit guides and stuff. And although I can't go into it in these videos, I'm going to do a separate video, but we have to be careful when navigating the psychic world, because, you know, we can get misinformation from there and take it the wrong way. What we have to realise that ultimately the goal is to become sovereign over your own life, so guides and stuff can help us, and yes, we have to listen to the guidance, but also ultimately we have to learn to rely on our own sort of like intuition and our own thoughts as well. We can't become amoebas, we have to have a sort of, not saying, we have to have a personality and hang on to it like an ego. No, it's not like that. We have to have some sort of sense of self, even if it's giving up self. So yeah, also the ascendant, which is involved in strongly in this whole period, this is in the 30th degree of Leo, and it governs the back in the human body. It has the symbology of an unsealed letter, so it can increase our self-expression, creativity and awareness. It helps us to have a deeper connection with our inner spirituality and imagination, but also it points towards, as I was saying in the introduction, that Neptune, because in retrograde, takes on the 12th house quality, and secrets can become revealed right now, or you may become aware of something you've hidden from yourself, and it may make you feel vulnerable, or the outside world may make you feel insecure. Somebody may expose one of your vulnerabilities or secrets, something like this as well, and misunderstandings and miscommunications can really knock us off kilter. So now I'm just going to talk a bit more about the physical, social and esoteric occult meanings of these Sabian degrees, which Neptune, Pluto, the Moon and the Ascendant are in, because they play an integral role in this year's retrograde. So the 6th degree of Pisces, it rules the left cuboid bone in our human body, and this bone plays a role in providing stability and support to our foot structure, so very important for our feet and to help us to walk, So Neptune retrograde in this degree puts the spotlight on us becoming stable in our physical and emotional, spiritual and psychological lives, and we have to confront our insecurities that we may have about bringing more financial, spiritual, emotional, physical stability into our lives, because sometimes it's not that we don't know what to do. We feel that we don't deserve it. We feel like our past is so unforgiving, and we can get so overwhelmed with guilt and shame, So this degree wants us to confront and learn to love ourselves. And when we move on to our social collective implications of this, it allows us to have a sense of authority and discipline, and wants us to question power structures within our society and ask for more transparency and more accountability from governments and organisational structures as well. So at this time we may see a lot of change in these sort of like elements as well. Pluto in the 8th degree of Capricorn on the esoteric level wants us to go into the hidden depths of ourselves and uplift ourselves by finding inner joy and contentment that can come from deep-rooted transformation of revelation. So, just being open to change, and it supports us in doing so, and allowing your thoughts and behaviours to be reborn, rebirthed into something new that allows you to feel at one with yourselves. So, it wants us to regenerate into a new sense of self by understanding the hidden aspects, traits, our weaknesses and the things we run away from, and things that we hide in general on the collective level as individuals or governments may come to light as well. So yeah, the moon in the 3rd degree of Taurus, it rules the finance, as I said, the oval part of the human body, and the symbology is steps up to a lawn blooming with clover, so blooming with like a little like a herb. Clover's like a herb. 4 or 3 leaves clovers are said to be lucky, but anyway, so it symbolises growth, abundance, fertility, and nurturing ourselves and our surroundings. The clover also symbolises interconnectedness and prosperity and luck, and it wants us to sort of like look after our throat and oral health, and be more self-expressive with ourselves, and supports us in doing that. It signifies a time of communal growth, as if collectively we all change one thing, as I said earlier, we can make really great leaps and bounds. In terms of the ascendant, it's in the 30th degree of Leo. The symbology is an unsealed letter. It allows us to have more openness, transparency and communication, and allows us to have new beginnings that can lead to clarity, and basically allows us to be open to information that can give us important information that can make course help us move forward. So if we're open to new things at this time and allow ourselves to tap into our subconscious mind to uncover hidden truths and confront illusions, we can reconnect with our inner self and explore like our imagination and our dreams, and intuition, as I said, may guide us at this time as well to understand what needs to be transformed. So at this time overall, it may be beneficial to pay attention to our dreams and symbols and synchronicities that happen right now, coincidences that give us that sense of whatever is happening is fated, and reminds us of the interconnectedness between the physical, social and esoteric realms, and it emphasizes the importance of stability, authority and transformation in both our personal and social sort of like contents, and it just wants us to be more transparent and accountable in our lives and call for more accountability and transparency from our governments and stuff like that as well. So that's the end of what Neptune retrograde means for us this year 2024. So now I'm just going to talk about Neptune retrograde in more depth, what I just talked about before, with just explaining about this year's Neptune retrograde in Pisces. What I'm going to talk about now is more generalizations about the energy of Neptune retrograde on the karmic level, and go deeper about how it affects our relationships and our development in more depth. So practically, when Neptune's in retrograde, decisions can be clouded by idealism or wishful thinking rather than grounded in reality. It's crucial to exercise caution in important matters such as finances or relationships to avoid being misled by lies and illusions. And it can be really hard because we want to be lied to on some levels during this time as well. Sometimes, we can just want to escape. So we may want to believe the lie even though we can see it is a lie. On the worldly materialistic level, as I said, it can blur the boundaries between reality and fantasy, and this can lead to challenges in practical affairs such as misunderstandings or miscommunication and misinterpretations of situations. We have to do our best to stay grounded and seek clarity, which can be hard to do because this time can be really murky, and it can just be hard for us to see things clearly. Politically, the influence of Neptune retrograde can just bring more idealism and deception into politics, and political leaders or movements can see the world through a lens of even more illusion at this time. So it can be crucial for us as the general public to analyse information and stay informed, fact check, get your information from a variety of sources, listen to the opposing side, gather the information using critical thinking methods, because hidden agendas and deceitful tactics can be used. So we have to question authority and seek transparency in the ways that we are governed right now. So spiritually and esoterically, Neptune retrograde invites us to dig deep into our subconscious realms and explore the unseen layers of existence. It's a profound opportunity for spiritual growth, increased intuition and connection to the divine. It encourages practices such as meditation, dream analysis and introspection to uncover deeper truths and insights within ourselves. On the psychological level, it wants us to confront our innermost fantasies and deceptions by using self-reflection so we can build our self-awareness. and reassess our spiritual or logical or deeper beliefs, and dig deep into our subconscious mind, symbolically and creatively. It can make us really creative right now. So many musicians and writers can find themselves tapping into their creative reservoir right now, that it can just literally, poetry can literally flow from the ether right out of your mouth or fingertips right now, so it's a great central energy that can just allow us to tap into those musical, spiritual love vibrations, but it's important to ground our visions and openness and creativity in reality to avoid getting lost in the sea of emotions. And emotionally, because it can bring confusion and emotional turbulence as we grapple with our inner truths, it can be a time of increased sensitivity and empathy towards ourselves and others, and we must give ourselves an abundance of love and practice self-care at this time and set healthy boundaries and respect other people's boundaries and protect our emotional well-being right now. So karmically, it wants us to confront any lies and illusions and self-destructive habits that we have and secrets that we run away from. This is a period of facing home truths about our spiritual development, our emotional, psychological and spiritual health. So some of you may come to realise the significance of being honest and authentic in your relationships, and this can lead to you learning the lesson of how important being transparent and gaining clarity is. In terms of karmic lessons, it wants us to basically learn and revisit our past mistakes and understand them, so we can move on and heal from them. It wants us to release outdated patterns and embrace a more authentic version of ourselves and align with our spiritual higher purpose or our highest potential, if you prefer that terminology. In terms of past life memories, we may have dreams that are related to the themes of sacrifice, spiritual delusionment, and the search for higher truths, or heartbreak, rejection, deception, and how we lie to ourselves and why you want to be lied to. Memories such as these may play on your mind, and by acknowledging these memories, which are giving us insight into our current life challenges and will offer us opportunities for healing from our obstacles if we take time out to decipher and understand these insights we get right now. And as we navigate the complexities of our lives and Neptune retrograde and encounter illusions that cloud our judgment and obscure the path to our clarity, and the illusions that come up right now, can be around, living up to society's expectations and the way we imprison ourselves, our self-imposed limitations, which are often our toxic thoughts that we won't heal, that distort our perceptions of reality, ourselves, our capabilities, the world and the people in it. So it's just important to have non-judgment right now. Just ask yourself, in what ways are you not living up to your own authentic self, and why you feel you have to conform to society's or other people's expectations. And many of us, most of our lives, living someone else's life, only to realise later the emptiness of living a facade, living up to other people's expectations don't really please them. It never does really, and you end up unhappy as well. So by being aware of the illusions in your life and embracing your authentic self, you can, allow yourself to grow into deeper self-awareness and forge, create a path aligned with your true passion and values, rather than, just living up to other people's expectations. In terms of family relationships, Neptune's retrograde can help us have deeper connections with our families, promoting us being more understanding and forgiving and compassionate with each other, because we can openly communicate truths and be open to listening to them, although we may still have misunderstandings and miscommunications and idealistic perceptions about at our family can blur the boundaries and create confusion. We can think we have clarity on the negative end but not really have it. So just make sure you state what you want, listen to other people's needs, ask for clarity, and do all you can to be the best part of the family unit that you can be, knowing that you can only be responsible for yourself. And yes, we have to guide younger people, and then your children we're responsible for, of course, but also there's limits on how much responsibility after a certain age we can take for their actions as well. But of course, in their formative years, we need to give them the right foundations so that they can make the best decisions as they age. In terms of friendships, we can, have deeper connections and do more shared activities together, especially being creative or spiritual with friends. But negatively, we can deceive each other, and misunderstandings can lead to tension as well as unrealistic expectations and hidden agendas. So try and be truthful, ask for truth, don't assume anything, as I said, as this can just add to the conflicts. The best use of this energy for friendships is to deepen the emotional bond between you guys. So in terms of co-workers in the workplace, Neptune Retrograde can increase creativity and intuition, and this can lead to more innovative ideas, and people can be more compassionate and supportive, and this can lead to productivity, or at least work getting done more efficiently. Negatively, co-worker relationships can suffer from lack of clarity and confusion and deception because of misunderstandings and miscommunications that can come up, and this can weaken productivity, and things can become very unprofessional at the worst end of the spectrum. In terms of romantic committed relationships, you can have more deeper emotional intimacy or spiritual and psychological connection. There can be more empathy between partners, and there just can be more sense of romance, creativity, sensuality and idealism, but for the positive end of it, which can make you more romantic and poetic with each other, wanting to meet each other's needs sexually and try new things. Negatively, the risk of disillusionment and escapism, realistic expectations can lead to boundaries being blurred, and there can be issues of trust and lack of clarity. So it's important to be grounded and be open in your communication and do things that can help you be grounded as a couple. Actually, it's really important. In terms of hookup relationships, again, pretty much the same. You can become more intimate because Neptune retrograde adds more mystery and the want of touch and deepening the intimacy and sensuality. But negatively, emotional confusion and unmet expectations and delusions can blur the lines, and boundaries can become hazy. So it's important to make sure you state your boundaries, and if you are unsure of what someone else's boundaries is, to ask them and to gain consent, and just to keep on asking, is this okay? This would be the best thing for everyone to do, actually, to maintain clear communication and ensure that mutual respect is given, so you can navigate the challenges that come up in the best way. If you're single, it can help you, deepen into your spiritual or creativity and self-discovery. It can help you connect with others and yourself on a deeper level and have more empathy. But negatively, it can lead to you idealising romantic relationships or being single, lying to yourself. Your judgment can be clouded, so it's important to be honest with yourself and to use discernment when dating and meeting new people. Relationships can be so easy to get into but so hard to get out of when love and feelings, and we have to make sure that they're loving us back as well, and that we're actually loving them and that our ideal of them. So we have to question, what is love? Are we really loving people, or are we getting lost in wasting time, distractions? A lot of the time we're just in situationships. Is it lust? Is it just attraction? Is it a trauma bond? Is it toxic? And it's okay to be in a relationship where you bond over your traumas and can help each other get over them. But if you're just allowing yourself to just dwell in your trauma and becoming worse at people because of it, then you have to question those relationships. So overall, it's important when you're single to just make sure that you look after yourself to avoid getting hurt and lost in illusion. If you're self-partnered, the best thing for you to do is to deepen your sense of spiritual connection and understanding of yourself. Again, being creative as well, setting boundaries, because not doing so can lead to emotional instability, and emotional instability is something that can be hard when you're self-partnered, especially if you just do it the hermit way and not interact with people. This is why it's best to interact with people to build your emotional resilience, to realise, so you can be more in tune when someone comes into your space and make you emotionally unstable, the reasons for it, so you can set it right, and just be more in tune with your emotions and become aware of your inner needs and motivations, and learn to communicate those with others who you are in relationship with, because being self-partnered doesn't mean you're not married to someone else. It just means that you prioritise your partnership with yourself above all other partnerships, knowing and seeing that without this solid relationship with yourself, you cannot be of any real use to anyone else. You can't, because you cannot fill up other people's cups if your own cup is half empty and all of that. Some of these cliches actually do make a lot of sense, not only in theory but in practice as well. So in terms of career development, it's best for you to deepen an understanding of your career goals and ask yourself, are you really on the right path in your career? And to just allow yourself to change career if need be, or thinking about changing how you show up in your career as well. But negatively, it can make us confused about our career path and goals and stuff. So take the time out that you need. Don't make hasty decisions, but reflect on all aspects of your career, especially your career goals and the tactics you're using to meet your career goals. So in terms of personal growth, it can increase our empathy and compassion and allow us to have deeper connections with ourselves and others, and it aids us with our self-discovery and growth. But the increased sensitivity can make us susceptible to deception and illusions, and this can lead to delusionment in our personal development journeys and our relationships as well. Spiritually, it can open new pathways for spiritual exploration and increase our intuition, and we can build a deeper connection with our higher self and our higher power, the divine, whatever you want to call it. Negatively, again, the blurred boundaries between reality and fantasy can make it hard for us to discern genuine spiritual experiences from delusions or wishful thinking. So we've got to do all we can to stay grounded right now. In terms of educational, and that is a key word. I've said that quite a lot, haven't I? So grounded is a key word of Neptune retrograde. So in terms of educational development, it can inspire us to take unconventional approaches to learning new things or old things, and it encourages more of a holistic understanding of subjects. But negatively, it can lead to us escaping and procrastinating when it comes to our academic activities, and this can create confusion and a lack of focus in our studies, and this can impact our educational progress. So now I'm just going to talk about the best things for us to do when Neptune's retrograde. So if you're more creative, it's great to revisit old projects with fresh perspectives and restart them. Journal, meditate, and use dream analysis to really, push and increase your creativity and tap into the depths of your imagination. Professionals should refine and, enchant and think about how they can upgrade their intuition and their emotional intelligence in the workplace, and pay attention to subtle dynamics in the workplace amongst co-workers and non-verbal cues, because Neptune's retrograde heightens sensitivity to energy shifts. So you should use this time to develop a deeper understanding of your colleagues' perspectives and motivations, and engage in empathy building exercises exercises and creative problem solving to increase your professional relationships. Entrepreneurs can use this energy to reassess your business goals and strategies from a more intuitive standpoint, and it's an opportunity to tune into your inner vision and align it with your entrepreneurial goals. So you can consider exploring new marketing techniques that appeal to emotions and your subconscious desires and connect with your target audience on a deeper level, and just focus on building a sense of trust and authenticity in your brand message to develop long-lasting relationships with your customers. Okay, so alternative healers should dig into their spiritual practices, diving deep into holistic approaches to healing and exploring new techniques that deepen your understanding of your existing healing knowledge and offer more profound support to your clients, emphasizing the importance of energetic boundaries and self-care to maintain balance while working with others' energies, which is really, really important if you're an alternative healer. Looking after yourself physically, emotionally and spiritual is really the best way and the only way that you can help your clients holistically manage themselves. So lovers can use this period to deepen their emotional connections and cultivate a sense of romance in their relationships, as it encourages us to communicate openly about our feelings and desires and develop a deeper bond with their partner, and just engage in activities that promote intimacy and being vulnerable and sharing your dreams and fears, taking time to appreciate beauty in your simple moments together, strengthening the emotional connection between you in your relationships, and just, as I said, consider new ways to express your love and affection that resonate with your partner's needs and your own needs and desires as well. Singles should use this time as self-partners to reflect on their innermost desires and understand what truly fulfills them and what brings you joy and fulfillment right now, and allow yourself to be fully present in the moment, and consider creative hobbies that ignite your passions at this time and doing them, focusing on building a strong sense of self-love and confidence, as this will naturally attract meaningful relationships into your life when the time is right. So Neptune Retrograde is a time for self-partnered people and singles to really, explore their emotions, dreams and subconscious thoughts, using techniques like journaling and meditation and creative expression to know yourself deeper and to set boundaries within your own life. And it's really important to practice self-care and maintain a strong connection to yourself when Neptune is in retrograde. Okay, so now I'm just going to talk a bit more about some techniques that you can use while Neptune's in retrograde. So in terms of looking after your mind, mindfulness meditation can really help you quieten the mind right now and bring awareness to the present moment. Journaling can also be beneficial for you at this time to reflect on your thoughts and emotions. Jotting down 3 things that you're grateful for each day can really shift your perspective towards positivity, and this is really, really good technique. I use it myself. Writing down the things that you're grateful for is really, really good. I do it myself. I write about 10 things, but you can pick any number, 7, 10, 20, whatever, 1, it's up to you. But it's a really technique for you to really, appreciate your life for what it is right now. In terms of your body, prioritizing your physical activity, exercise that nourish your body, and eating the right food, and yoga or Pilates or jumping on the rebounder, weights, going for a walk, whatever it is that can help you feel grounded and connected to your physical being is really good for you to do right now. And it's important to listen to your body's needs and give it the rest and nutrition that it craves during this time. In terms of your soul, doing things that really feed your higher consciousness, your soul, by spending time in nature, practicing gratitude, writing down 1 affirmation each day. So coming up with your own affirmation, like, today I will love myself, today I will understand myself, today I will respect myself, today I will understand that I don't need to be perfect and stuff like that, and just surround yourself with more positive energy. And as I keep on saying throughout these, motto is, it's not about getting rid of all the negativity, it's about building positivity into your life. I'm quoting it loosely, but the quote goes something like, forming new habits is not about destructing, focusing on knocking down the old and coming like, I must get rid of all my old toxic behaviours. No, it's about focusing on building the new habits. And as you build the new habits, the old ones will slowly fade away. So now I'm just going to discuss 7 strategies that can help you tap into your subconscious mind and your creativity and imagination during Neptune retrograde, because, Neptune really wants us to do this. So as I said, meditation and mindfulness, so whether it's breathwork meditation, anything that allows you to quiet the conscious mind, the more logical side of your mind, and allow your subconscious, the more right-brained, intuitive side of your brain and its thoughts and feelings to surface, and allow yourself to be in the present moment. So focusing on your breath or a mantra can create a space for creative insights to emerge and come alive. Dream journaling can be really powerful. Keeping a dream journal by your bedside and writing down your dreams immediately upon waking can help you uncover the hidden messages and symbols from your subconscious mind. And I keep one, and I don't do it every day, but I've done it consistently over the past 7 years, and consistently meaning that I've recorded dreams each year, not necessarily each month or each day. So as I said, it's about consistently building a habit and doing the things, and the time that you do it will increase. Some years you'll do it 10 times in that year, some years 50 times, then 100, and then some years every day, and some days, most days, just slowly building up your dream journal habit. And this just can help you gain valuable insights from your deepest thoughts, fears and desires, and it can help you channel them into your creative projects and just become aware of your fears and your desires, so that you can come up with ways of making them your reality. And visualization exercises can help you. So by picturing vividly what you want to achieve, you are programming your subconscious mind to work towards these outcomes. So this can really help you use your imagination and your thought process and focus your mind on something else other than negativity. Creative expression, so to do this you can sort of like poetry, free verse writing, storytelling, visual arts, recording yourself with audio and video, or just audio, speaking, just allowing yourself to explore the depths of your imagination without judgment or restraint. You can use colours, write and draw, images may come up. It's really, this creative expression is really a big one, because you could, sing, dance, play the piano, game, to allow your thoughts to roam, but make sure whatever it is you do to allow your creative expression, which is your authentic self, to come out, and your emotions and your needs and your fears or whatever, is that, that's the purpose, not to distract yourself by gaming. You're actually trying to facilitate your mind being able to unlock its fears and its depths and desires by gaming. I hope that made sense. You can connect to nature, so spending time in nature or listening to nature sounds can help you stay in the present moment. Long walks in the woods or sitting by a flowing river or gazing at the stars can help you feel inspired and rejuvenated at this time. And nature has a way of grounding us and reminding us of the beauty and the vastness of the world around us. It allows us to quiet our minds, listen to the whispers of the wind, and find solace in the gentle rustling of leaves. Embracing nature during Neptune retrograde can offer clarity and a sense of peace amongst the cosmic energies of chaos. At times that's pain, but Neptune retrograde is double-sworded. Yes, it can be chaos, but out of that chaos can come beauty, and that's a metaphor for life. So yeah, exploring new perspectives is another way we can connect with the energy and work with the energy of Neptune retrograde. We can engage in discussions with people from different backgrounds and belief systems to ours, read books outside of our usual genre, that we like, listen to podcasts and shows, and consume things that challenge our existing beliefs, and critically think. And by exposing ourselves to new ideas and viewpoints, we can expand our horizons and gain fresh insights that can really, push our creative plans and our career goals, or whatever we're working on right now. By being open to emotionally healing ourselves, addressing our past psychological, emotional and spiritual wounds and traumas, and releasing our baggage and nurturing our inner selves, learning to bring inner stability to ourselves, and therapy and journaling, committing to self-help and actually using the tools, and committing to getting up after each failure that happened during the 5 months that Neptune's retrograde, because failure will always happen, and failure is just a step in the journey to success. The many failures. The trick is consistency and creating a space for yourself to grow and get back after your knockbacks, and taking slow and steady daily steps to get to where you need to get to, and create a space within yourself for new beginnings, and allow a greater sense of balance to grow within yourself by taking the time out to forgive and understand yourself. So yeah, that's the end of this in-depth analysis of Neptune retrograde and what it means from all angles, holistically. If you like this content, please subscribe and follow wherever you consume it. Take care and see you next time.